everybody, and welcome to another edition of Lunch with Leaders and Legends. So glad you're able to join us today. I'm really excited that I was able to pin this gentleman down for 30 minutes of his busy life. Dr. Shelby Chipman, Director of Bands at Florida A&M University. Thank you so much. I know you've had a really busy couple of weeks. We'll talk about that in a second. But I want to kind of jump right into this because we like to learn a little bit more about our guest other than just what everybody already knows. So can you tell us just a little bit about your background?
Well, sure. First of all, thank you, Rick, and of course, Conn-Selmer and all the great initiatives that Conn-Selmer has and the wonderful things you guys do for so many communities. But I am, of course, born and raised. I was born and raised in Miami, Florida. Of course, come from a family of 3 other siblings, and my mother, who was a 30-year teacher in the elementary level of Dade County Public Schools in Miami. Unfortunately, my father passed when I was 7, and so my mom, of course, reared us. You see her photo right behind me at our Florida Classic. So she's always looking down, saying, "Make sure you do the right thing, and let the spirit of how I, raise you guys be with you as you move forward." Certainly, all my education was in the Dade County Public Schools in Miami, and fortunately, I had the opportunity to receive a scholarship to attend Florida A&M by Dr. Judy White, who's the immediate past director of bands, along with Dr. William Patrick Foster and Dr. Sylvester Young. And so I ended up going to FAMU on a music scholarship, participated in the trumpet section in the FAMU marching band and concert band and jazz band, and graduated with a degree in computer science and music education, and went on to pursue a career in education, teaching in Miami-Dade County schools at Miami Central High School. In the summers, I went off to the University of Illinois in Champaign-Urbana and got my master's degree in music ed. And lo and behold, 10 years later, I was invited back to be a part of the FAMU Department of Music and Assistant Director of Bands to Dr. Judy White. And I've been here now, 23 years. I've been teaching in Florida for 33 years. And at some point in time, I started working on my doctorate degree here at FAMU while teaching, and received the PhD in music education from Florida State University College of Music. And my emphasis and area was at-risk students. And so I surveyed 500 music teachers, elementary, middle, and high school teachers in the state of Florida, randomly sampled on what it takes and what is it you do to encourage students to stay in school. And so that was a great project that I was able to share with other teachers in the state and around the country, and made presentations not only at our FMEA, but Midwest and TMEA and other areas. And of course, I currently teach and direct the university marching band, Wind Symphony Symphonic Band. I do visit student teachers along with the string ensemble, and I conduct a Big Bend Community Orchestra that my rest in peace colleague Jim Croft was over, and he turned it over to me years ago. And yeah, so it just keeps motoring along and everything else.
You're not busy.
The FMEA presidents and all of that good stuff.
Oh, my goodness. So this is a very open-ended question, but what's it like to be the director of bands at one of the most famous institutions in the country?
Wow, that's a great question. And I get asked that question, Rick, quite a bit. And it's, for me, I really thought I was going to be a high school principal back in the day, not knowing that things were going to kind of shift and do, have the kind of opportunities that I've had. And certainly being here is a humbling honor, as I mentioned to predecessors who served in this capacity. And I realized the shoulders of giants that I always like to give credit to, that have been in this position, not only as director, but all the hundreds and thousands of students who have marched in the FAMU band and created this kind of incomparable legacy that we have here, and all the noted performances that we've had since 1946 when Dr. Foster was here, and the Super Bowls and the Grammys and the presidential inauguration parades, and just so many performances. And now having this opportunity to serve and realize that now we are one, and I tell the students this all the time, we're some of the giants that showed us that people will be standing on when they graduate from this institution. And certainly always thinking about how we can reach the people that we serve and come out to the different audiences is one of the major pieces that, you know, we dialogue with our students and others who share in presenting the FAMU Incomparable March 100. But I tell you, it is an honor to serve, and it is a responsibility that I value quite a bit, because I know that whenever people hear the name FAMU Incomparable March 100, there's an expectation that they have for us in terms of our performance and how we connect with the people. So I'm just humbly honored to serve, and hope that during my watch that I'll continue to keep this legacy vibrant and alive, and on the level of some of the aspects of our band model, which is, you know, precision and of course the dedication that our students have.
That's awesome. So Shelby, you mentioned wanting to be a high school principal, and I know that you obviously have a lot of leadership skills because you're managing so much. Can you talk to us a little bit about what you learned from your former educators, former band directors, and, you know, of course, Dr. Foster is an icon in the world, and if you had any time to learn from him, I can only imagine what that must be like. What kinds of things did you take away from being in those positions?
Well, again, that's another great question, Rick. And certainly under Dr. Foster's leadership, I mean, again, I was fortunate to have Dr. Foster initially as the director of bands here at FAMU. And of course, Dr. Foster was noted not only for the creativity and all the many things that he helped revolutionize in marching band, but he was also a leader in the realm of bandsmanship as relates to being president of prestigious organizations such as the American Bandmasters Association, the College Band Directors National Association, other organizations as relates to civic groups and service groups around the country. And so when I think about and reflect on his leadership style and what his expectations were and how he managed his office, and I was a work study student under Dr. Foster and Dr. Judy White during my undergraduate days, and so I got a chance to spend some time with the both of them on just leadership and management style and how you would go about organizing yourselves, not only as it relates to the curriculum of the marching band program in terms of technique books that work well and how you would foster your rehearsals, but also how you would communicate and connect with those people who are in your circle. And that would be some of the individuals, of course, on campus, being administrators and other areas on your campus, with student activities offices that you have to work with, and of course our plan operations office and admissions office and financial aid office. And then you think about the other areas that relate to that on high school and middle school campuses, where you also have to work with guidance counselors. I was able to use those kind of experiences I had working with those gentlemen when I became a high school director down in Miami at Miami Central High School for 10 years, and was able to transfer that learning to being able to have good people skills that would allow me to work with guidance counselors and folks that are over different programs that the high school students were part of. And then, of course, connecting with the FBA, or Florida Bandmasters Association. You know, I eventually became FBA chairman in Miami. I was kind of able to relate those experiences again to dealing with other middle school and high school directors in the city in terms of schedules that would need to be done for solo ensemble, concert band, jazz band. And so I think all of that added up together by following the lead of what was taught to me in terms of managerial kinds of things, helped me to foster even my leadership style here today at FAMU, with the management of this system and so many moving parts, and connecting the dots to the different organizations and individuals that I have to work with.
That's awesome. Sounds like you had some great experiences. I'd like to ask this next question two different ways, but since you sort of went one direction, I'm going to go a little bit of another direction. If I asked some of your student leaders or some of your assistant directors or some of the others that have worked closely under you or with you to describe your leadership style, what do you think they would tell me?
Wow. Probably he's never satisfied. He's always striving for that 10th of a point. He's always trying to push us in an area that maybe we didn't realize what the overall premise or idea was, but later on, you see them on Facebook or you see them in a community where the band plays, and it's like, Dr. Chipman, Mr. Chipman at the time, I really appreciate now what you did in terms of trying to lead us or leading us in the area that you led us during the high school days, and how much they cherish those opportunities, especially at my high school days where there was an inner city school at Miami Central High School, and we didn't have much money or nothing, but we had great pride. We had great parent support. We were able to, move our music presentation area to the point where we were able to perform at the Macy's Day Parade in New York City and Concert Bands of America. And so the work ethics of the students, I'm sure most of them would tell you that, I have a high level of work ethics as it relates to really pushing and ensuring that really, as we say here at FAMU, there are no last chair players, because we're always developing the musicianship and getting students to think about they all count and are part of the team approach to making the program better. And I appreciate, the kind of opportunities that, I have here at FAMU, but I know it all stems from my undergraduate training and what I was able to share with my high school students and them feeling good about the program. And now a lot of them, of course, are very successful. And, many of them, of course, are married and they're just doing amazing things. And every now and then, when I see them, it's just so gratifying to see that little ninth grader back in the day now is a parent of 3 or 4 and doing amazing things. And some of their students now, their kids that is, are here now majoring in music or have already graduated. And so it's just very gratifying to see that.
Well, and I'm sure, as with all great leaders, I'm sure that they learn so much more from you than just the music part. That's what makes them great individuals, just knowing who you are and the success you've had. I'm sure you've passed down those non-musical skills as well, which is awesome. So I know you've had a very, very busy couple of months. Are you officially the past president now of Florida Music Ed? Are you still in the presidency?
I'm still in the presidency seat until June 30th.
Okay.
Lock will take over.
And you had a very successful conference, I know, here just a couple months ago, and just performed at CBDNA, the College Band Directors National Association. With a marching band like yours, it's always in the spotlight, so everybody really knows about that. Not everybody knows about, and this just goes for every university, I would think, but not a lot of people, unless you're in that world, know a lot about the indoor stuff. But I want to tell you, I have never had the pleasure of hearing your band, but thank goodness somebody put on Facebook your performance. I'm literally getting chills right now just thinking about it. That was the most incredible performance. If you all are out there, just Google what FAMU did at CBDNA and look for Dr. Chipman's performance. It was spectacular. So the question I have kind of maybe goes towards the leadership thing is, how do you keep all of those plates spinning? And for our younger viewers who might not understand that analogy or whatever, there were these variety show hosts that their big trick was have all these plates on these sticks, and they would run around. When this one was falling, they would try to keep that one up, and while they're keeping these spinning. So you got a lot of plates that you're trying to do that. How do you do that so successfully?
Well, I'll tell you, first and foremost, Rick, I thank God for giving me the vision and providing me a safe haven as it relates to health. And certainly I try and make sure I take care of myself in terms of the health part. And then next and formally, I'd have to thank, my wife, who supports me and allows me to go in these different areas that I actually have the opportunity to. I have a great band staff. I could not do what I do without the assistants that are here on campus. And then as it relates to just planning, I think, we say that, as leaders within different organizations that we're in, but certainly planning things out and thinking about what would be the best scenario so our students can have opportunities to explore some things that maybe they would not have had the opportunity to explore before. And, with the CBDNA point that you mentioned, of course, COVID hit. And so those 10 bands who were supposed to perform and in the collegiate band, were not able to. And so, our president, Mark Speed, pushed some things back. And so we were able to regroup everything and, of course, move forward with that. And but I just have a great support system that's here in Tallahassee that it helps me to kind of outline and do some things. And the students, I will say, they have bought into the system. FAMU has always had over the years not only an incredible marching band, but we've always had a great concert band program and even chamber wind and solo kinds of experiences for our music majors and even non-music majors. And so as I thought about selecting literature that would be appropriate, and actually to your point, we finally received the video, official video from the UGA office, and of course, Nicholas Williams, Dr. Williams, that is UGA Director of Band, did a great job in putting that piece together for all the schools and communities that came out. But we're launching that video on tomorrow, and so it'll kind of have everything with the italicized titles at the beginning of every piece and zoom in shots, etc. That we're going to put out there. What's out there now is, I think, is a couple of videos. I'm not sure if it's the entire video. It may have just been Come Sunday, and maybe a video.
That's the only one I saw. Yeah, Come Sunday.
Yeah, but our official video is going to come out tomorrow, and so we'll do a little countdown for that, so that everybody can see everything from the introduction to the very last piece. But I must say that I'm just so incredibly proud of our students and our staff. And those students, man, they worked so hard the last month after the break, because marching season, of course, was very busy for us, and we just didn't have time to put it together like we wanted. But I mean, they rose to the occasion, and I've been receiving nothing but kudos from so many people who were either there or they have seen the same video that you're referring to, and we're just excited for them. And the first day thing that we did, because again, I stayed until Saturday. When I got back Monday, I told them we were having rehearsal on Monday, but I kind of tricked them. Because my wife and I just ordered a huge sheet cake saying congratulations on your CBDNA performance, and we just had punch and cake on Monday and just talked about the performance and showed them that video that you're talking about. Many of them had seen it already, but we just had a good time, and I just posed them and asked them some questions. What was your highlight moment? And some of them started referring about when this person I never knew came up to me afterwards and say, amazing performance. Some of them said they got a teary eye when they saw so many people wouldn't stop clapping, because it was like a 7 or 8 minute ovation. And so that's an experience that I've been teaching 30 something years. I've never received, had the humbling experience. And of course I boohoo cried on stage in front of everybody, because it was just so emotional, full circle. And so it was just great.
It was so inspirational. I can't even imagine what it was like to hear that live. Now, will you put that on a Facebook page, or will that be on your university website? Where can people find that?
So it'll be on our Facebook page that we just created.
Okay.
And so it'll be on the FAMU Band's Facebook page, and then we have our own Facebook FAMUbands.com Facebook page.
Okay.
And then it'll be on Facebook, and then our university has asked for a copy of it, and at some point they're going to post it on the university site as well.
Well, I that's awesome. If whoever's out there, you need to look that up, because you will not regret it. So you mentioned having good health, which is awesome. And do you have any like daily routines that you do that help you get prepared for your busy days?
Well, what I do is, I want to say I try and go to bed at a respectable hour, but that's off the plate because I'm always doing something with emails and FMEA and FAMU bands and ordering this and securing to make sure this is in place for the next day. But I do try and make sure I get the proper rest. And one of the things that I talk about with my FMEA platform, of course, building communities, that was part of my theme these 2 years. But I added 2 additional committees. One was the reclamation, realizing coming after COVID that we would need to reclaim many of our teachers who just may be dealing with some things or just may not have been with us. And the other was health and wellness. And I even added some things, or we added some things, I should say, at the FMEA conference. And we had individuals to come in and do some exercising kinds of things, yoga classes, et cetera, and just talking more about how important it is for us to take care of ourselves. And of course, when it's not cold here, one thing that I do very actively is I ride my bike. And so I'm very much so into cycling as I can. And of course, making sure that I eat properly and healthy as well. We know that's a major piece. And I'm still working on drinking more and more and more water.
Oh, yeah.
My wife says that is so important. We know it's very important, but doing things that will relate to being very healthy and being very mindful of balance as relates to not only working, but getting the proper rest accordingly is very important.
so important, because I know a lot of people in the business, they just go, 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 go. And you get to a point where then you end up might not be doing as good of work as you would like to, just because you're not mentally or physically,
Yes.
refreshed. So you may have answered this question already too. What do you do to just get away from it all, just to relax? Do you have any hobbies? Or, I mean, you mentioned riding your bike, but like when you want to just shut it off, if you ever do, what is it that you do?
Don't bother me when the Los Angeles Lakers are on television. So I'm an avid sports fan. I know some of the folks are going to say, what's wrong with him? But I love the Los Angeles Lakers. I love the Los Angeles Rams and Los Angeles Dodgers. Those are my three favorite teams. So I follow them quite a bit. So of course, when we went out to LA for the LeBron James Chosen Ones tournament, he invited the FAMU band out in December during the holidays.
Right.
I was able to secure tickets. One of the administrators, that is, was able to secure a couple of tickets. So I got a chance to go to the Lakers game and hang out, and went to the VIP room and met, that is, LeBron James's wife, and we presented the whole family with some Marching 100 gear, and got a chance to meet the coach's wife that weekend. And so that was a bucket list check off. But I love to watch sports, and that's how I kind of relax whenever I get home in the evenings. And of course, my wife and I, we do go walking as time permits with my schedule. Sometimes we do try and make sure we fit that in to the scope of things. And then we're always going to do a couple of times a year where we do a little vacation. Usually it's a mini one during the Christmas holidays after the Midwest Clinic. And certainly every summer we do a 5 or 6 day vacation, and usually it's around water, because I just love to be around the water. So it's always going to have a water, and preferably what do you call it? Oh God, how can I go blank at this moment? The water, you sit on the float and you go around the
Like a lazy river kind of thing?
lazy river. How can I forget it? Because even the March 100, we stay at this hotel at the Florida Classic in Orlando, so it has a lazy river. So it just kind of helps to just keep you calm and at peace. So yeah.
All that stuff is so important. And for those of us, those of you out there who are in leadership positions, please don't take what Dr. Chipman is saying lightly. It's so, so important to work hard,
Yes.
but also to get away and be refreshed, and just come back with much more energy and clear thoughts. So the last thing, what's the next big thing for Dr. Shelby Chipman?
God, everybody keeps asking me that. Rick, I can't believe you asked that again. Or you asked that as well. Because as I sit here, I'm thinking about, man,
Well, I know you're going to ABA coming up.
Yes.
You at the American
so
Bank Association Conference.
yeah, I'm very excited about ABA next week. My great colleague, Dr. Kevin Satterthal, asked me to guest conduct the Michigan State Wind Symphony next week. So I'm excited about that. We have, of course, here on campus, we have our Wind Band Festival. I think we have about 15 schools that are signed up, and that's April 14th and 15th. And then, of course, we have our end of the semester concerts featuring our symphonic band and our president's concert, and that's April 26th and 27th, respectively. And then we'll start our system all over again, where we start to audition student leaders for positions in the band next year. Of course, our summer band camp. Last year we had 600 students here in Tallahassee.
Wow.
And so we're excited about our summer band camp. That's July 8th through the 15th on campus. So visit famubands.com to enroll in that. And I'm looking forward to the Conn-Selmer Institute this summer and hanging out with our colleagues and being a part of that experience. And whatever else the world has before me that allow me to share my talents and keep balance in life, that's what I plan to do.
Well, that's awesome. Well, we appreciate you so much again, with everything you have going on, taking some time to visit with me today. Wonderful information that we shared with our listeners and our watchers, and congratulations on all your past success, and looking forward to seeing what's coming up next. And I look forward to seeing you next week in Lawrence.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing you as well, Rick.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
No, thank you.
Have a great weekend.
You too. Bye-bye.
I remember the first one 25 plus years ago. It was 21 people in the Ramada Inn in Elkhart, Indiana. Wow.
CSI to me is like going and having family time with some of your best friends. Even though your first time, you may not know anybody, but when you leave, you know everybody.
If when school's out, you sort of have time to do it, you know, you have the time. And also it's not expensive. And that's another way that our servant leadership is expressed. We're saying, come on, you know, come join us. It's an elite group that's not elite.
If you want an opportunity to truly deepen your practice, to truly think about what you're bringing to the stage and think about how we can get better at it, which is, I think, in the heart, what do we want? For the good of our students, for the good of ourselves, for the good of our longevity in the profession, CSI is much more than that booster shot. CSI is that salve that's going to shore us up.
I tell everybody it is a must do. That if you enjoy going to your state conference, that's great. This is like your state conference on steroids. It is so tailor-made for the people who attend that you just have to do it.
The intimacy of CSI is unmatched. Small groups, 20, 25 in a group, and with the clinician, it's highly interactive, conversational. The growth and learning doesn't happen one directional, it's multi-directional stuff. And it's not just the clinics, it's afterwards, it's in between, it's the meals, it's the sharing of stories with each other. And so the engagement is at an incredibly high level, and every person is valued and treated like royalty at CSI.
When you step on the campus at Bethel, you suddenly go, wow. Yes, it's a small world, and there's people from all over the place, but it's a family. And you have literally band gods there that are doing presentations, and they come and sit down and have dinner with you and truly want to talk with you and chat with you and know really what's going on.